let me take 15 seconds before we go to the phones to ask Mark Randy, who was one of the people on the radio after the game.
I heard him in the pregame. You sounded great, Grandy. You and Sterling.
Yeah, you guys did. But I do have a question. Mark.
Yeah, what's up?
Is Sterling okay? He did not sound okay.
It was rough.
He did not sound like of the two, you sounded upset, but you sounded more okay. Sterling did not sound like he was going to make it home safe.
He made it home safe.
Okay.
He's good. He took it a little harder than I did.
And I get it. How
late were you guys on? Till like 10?
We were on until like 12:15.
Yeah, he was like, we're going to be here all night. I did hear that part. He's like, we're not leaving. We're not leaving. We're not leaving until we win the Super Bowl.
Oh, man.
Well, that's the thing. When you're doing post-game every game, you know this is your last game to do a post-game of, and you don't want to end.
Leave it all out on the field. Yeah. And they did. And they did. Yeah, let me shout it out because you and I, it was the last thing we said Friday. It was the last thing I tweeted as well. For those of you who have not turned 40 yet, I'm sorry. This is harder for you.
Yeah.
It's hard for all of us. But this is harder for you, and I get it.
Sterling and Grandy and
sucks.
the Locust.
This is so... it's so disappointing. I get it. I really do. Going up against Mahomes, it just going to be a problem for everybody for a while. It's just going to be a problem.
You know what I was thinking about, guys? I know we're taking it really hard, and you laid out Kyle Shanahan's 49ers in the case. How do you think Kyle Shanahan's dealing with this? I mean, we can blame him, but...
Did you read Silver's article?
I did not.
So he was with Shanahan's mom, waiting for Kyle to come out, and Mike Shanahan, and Kyle's kids and wife. And he sat there and spoke to them, and then stood with them as Kyle came out. And I don't know how exactly to describe it. You should all read the article in the Chronicle, but imagine seeing your kid walk up to you after, I don't know.
You lost your job.
Girlfriend just broke up with him, or the dog died. That was what the description sounded like. And I forget her name, but Mrs. Shanahan. Mandy. One thing when it's your husband, and she's been there before, but a completely different thing when it's your son. And this is brutal. There's no escaping this.
Yeah.
I'm glad that Kyle spoke up and said, I've been here twice. Stop hanging coordinator losses on Kyle Shanahan.
Right.
I'm sure that was disappointing, but the reason I take that one away, it's if he had won, he wouldn't have gotten the glory of being the head coach on a Super Bowl winning team.
Right.
So don't hang it around him that they lost that one. It's twice. He's been here twice as a head coach. They've both been epically disappointing. They've both been against Patrick Michael Jordan Mahomes.
And he's been a part of both overtime Super Bowl losses. There have been 2 overtime Super Bowls, and he's been on the losing end of both. And you heard Kyle, and we'll go to the phones in just a moment. You heard Kyle in the press conference immediately thereafter talking about, this group of guys, and if he's going to lose it, he would lose it with this group, and he almost started crying. And it was...
a lot of them did. Juice cried right there on the stand.
For sure.
Bosa spoke about that. He's we want to go somewhere quiet because there are changes every year to a roster. This is our last chance.
That's it.
To be together as a group. I mean, I hope that doesn't get all lost in this. I loved this team.
It's a great team, great season.
God dang, I loved this team. This was so fun this year.
Yep.
And man, for it to end with some of these plays and images in our mind, and chiefly among them, freaking Dre losing his Achilles simply trying to enter the field. I can't.
I mean,
that is so freaking devastating.
And you see Fred right away put his hands on his helmet oh my God, no. What just happened?
The
man is just trying to run on the field. It wasn't in the most violent sport in our country. This guy gets hurt trying to just run on the field?
What? And these are the kinds of things that we will feel and never know. But gosh, you do wonder how that game would have gone if he'd been in it.
I don't think Travis Kelce has 9 catches. That's for sure.
God, darn it.
Well, I like your positive attitude as always, but can we let people come on here and start ripping people?
Yeah. No,
Let's
not
go.
just that, but also vent. Like, I mean, come on. Let's
move to Portland. It's Rip City. Let's go.
Roxy and Lafayette, you're first. Hey, Roxy, you're on Willard and Dibs. What's up?
Yes, I'm so happy. I've been trying to call since like 8 a.m. this morning, and
you're in. You're not just in, but you're like the Jung Hoo Lee of our show. You're leading off.
Okay, I'm going to lead off, and I have 2 things for you guys. One is I want to vent, and the reason why I've been in the morning so much is because this is therapy for me, you know?
Yeah.
I want to give everyone a phone hug or a virtual hug because it hurts so deep. It's very, very true. And like you were saying, Mark, or somebody else was saying, you were saying, Mark, on the article, the players, the coaches, I want to just thank them. Gratitude from the bottom of my heart, because this past year has been really hard for me just in terms of, you know, what it is. And sports just brings me so much joy. And the Niners have uplifted me and also almost broken my heart. And yeah, yesterday I cried, and I'm over 50, but I cried. But I'm also the lucky one of the bunch that I grew up in the Montana rice, all that. So
yeah.
I seen that.
You've been there before.
Gratitude. Yes, but I want to give gratitude to the players, to the organization, to you guys for everything, okay? So that's in terms of the flowers for all of us, right? We got there. We got to the Super Bowl. Come on, we're going to do it again.
Roxy, love that. Go ahead. I know you got something else, too.
Yes. The second part, this is the venting, and I would like to find out and know a little bit more. I know the 49ers at the beginning were very upset about the practice and whatever happened there. And then they started talking about the alarms a little bit, that they were hearing them or whatever. So I would like to know if those shenanigans happen every Super Bowl, regardless what team you're on, because that's also I think it happened to MJ, he got a pizza, but
right.
Then he had the run.
The flu game. The flu game.
Yeah. So I want to know if that happens, in every Super Bowl, if they're players or if you guys know that because, getting the alarm, you don't get enough rest. Messing up with the field. I mean, it's not excuses, but I just want to know for me if that happens, because I was also into sports. If it has happened in other Super Bowls, if people complain about it, or if this is just, it happens all the time.
Roxy is a great call. Great listening to you, and we have a ton of gratitude for you, for being with us throughout the season. We hope that continues. Thank you so much. Just speaking with regard to the field, the whole pulling of fire alarms, and there's just so much more attention on Super Bowls, and so you hear about every little thing that maybe wouldn't be a big deal if it was just October weekend and you're in Green Bay or something like that. But as far as the field is concerned, no, I don't think that's a normal Super Bowl thing. Don't forget, this is the first time this city has ever hosted this game. And so this is the first time that UNLV has ever been an NFL practice facility. And it did not go well. And we'll wait till the middle of the week when we talk to Doc Pandia. He was tweeting about it last night. I have no idea. And we'll never have a definitive answer. But you practice on that all week, and then you have Greenlaw, you have Debo, you had Feliciano for a while. I know Kittle's was an upper body thing, but I'm not a doctor. I can't answer if those two things are attached.
Right.
I mean, I hope not.
It's impossible to know.
You'll never know, but I'd love to hear his opinion on it.
Yeah, and he'll offer his opinion, no doubt. But even though he is medically trained and a doctor, it's mostly guesswork because you don't really know what the effects of practicing on that surface mean for going out and then playing on a different surface. I do know this. Last year in the Super Bowl, there was a lot of controversy about that field and how slippery the logo was. You remember how many players were slipping and falling on the painted logo. So just know this, as you watch these games, the NFL doesn't give a crap about you, your practice facility, your health, fairness, any of it. All they care about is the money. So they might have the Super Bowl in a place where one team has to practice on the moon and they won't even care.
Right.
And that's just the way that goes.
I mean, like, I'll tell you what they do care about yesterday. Taylor, did you see that conversation? What'd you make of that? Did you hear Roger Goodell and Taylor Swift face-to-face?
No, I didn't see that.
Oh, for about 5 minutes.
I know the overhit early in that second half.
Cutaway shots. No. Roger and Taylor sat there in the suite face-to-face, and it looked serious. They weren't like, there wasn't pleasantries.
No.
They were chatting about something, like something real.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
He probably was saying, we want you for the Super Bowl halftime show next year. She said, Roger, I don't need it. Have you seen my downloads and my Spotify flow? I'm the second biggest artist in the world.
I wonder who got more Spotify run yesterday between Taylor and Usher.
Yeah, interesting.
I wonder who got more. But I don't wonder that much.
I was not going to Google it.
I don't actually care. I do care what JT in San Jose has got to say. Hey, JT, what's going on?
Hey, guys. How's it going?
You know.
Yeah, I know. I'm still trying to find my feelings. I think I lost them yesterday.
Yeah.
You know, it's unfortunate, too. It's like, just looking across the board, I mean, the guys definitely looked out of place. They weren't in sync. Pass blocking, I mean, we should have been running the ball a little more, too, as well. I mean, Mitchell was doing a great job. The second half, we come out. We want to put you want Brock Purdy to be comfortable. And when we establish the run, that opens up the play action because, to me, what I was seeing, the secondary was blanketing it. I mean, you couldn't do nothing in the secondary. So that opens up the middle of the field. Your tight end's literally playing right guard the whole entire game when you should be taking advantage of those linebackers. Those linebackers do not cover very well, and that's where our focus should have been at. Bubble screens, what happened to the bubble screens that we do so well? We weren't doing any of those things. And then defensively wise, I mean, the second half, come on. I mean, you're down there. They're already driving down the field in overtime. You got to call a timeout and get your guys back together. Go, hey, you know what? They're running on us right now. Let's get our heads together. Let's put a stop right here. I mean, it was a very troubling game to watch, unfortunately.
Well, JT, it's all. Thank you so much. It's all kinds of frustrating. I get it. There's nothing anybody's going to say today to take us off of our complaint list. There's nothing anybody's going to say. But, hey, gather the guys and tell them we need a stop. They knew that they needed a stop. They couldn't get it.
Nope.
The other team's really good. Where's the bubble screens? Steve Spagnuolo's really good. They're trying to stop him, too. The one thing that I do push back on a little bit is this idea, and I do hear this. I feel like it goes back and forth. Kyle Shanahan, you're a turtle. You're too conservative. Oh, by the way, don't ever throw the ball. Run it. You can't have it both ways. Stop saying Kyle Shanahan's too conservative and then, in the next breath, scream at him that he should only be running the ball. That third quarter, you've got to think about what developed. Don't just look at the plays and go, they ran 9 plays and Christian McCaffrey only ran the ball 1 time. It's a disingenuous opinion, okay? They came out, they threw the ball 1 time, and then there was a false start, which was going to be a run play. But now it's 2nd and 15. You're so into Andy Reid today. Why don't you ask Andy Reid what he would have done on 2nd 15?
And the second drive was 2nd and 18.
2nd and 18. So spoiler alert,
right.
You ain't running the ball on those downs.
Yeah.
You're trying to chunk off 10 yards so that you can make a makeable 3rd down, and it didn't work. And by the way, Christian McCaffrey, outside of that opening quarter, was not gashing the Chiefs. 3.6 yards per carry for the game. Third possession in the 3rd quarter, 1st down, they did hand it to McCaffrey. Ran into a wall.
Yeah, no gain.
Ran into a wall. So I'm not saying you can't feel like he should have run the ball on both of those 1st downs. It's a fair opinion. But don't act like it just should have been McCaffrey's show and that he was rocking at 7 or 8 yards per carry at any point in the second half. He wasn't. It's just not the way the game was going, man. And I'm comfortable with the Niners throwing the ball. I don't know if y'all noticed, they've got a good quarterback this year.
Yeah, not as comfortable as I am giving it to Christian McCaffrey. Yeah, but you can look at the final numbers and say 22 carries, all you want, but
30 touches.
Right. And he probably should have had 40 because you weren't doing much else. Otherwise, George Kittle was almost a non-factor in the game plan.
True.
And Brandon Ayuk wasn't being used that much. Kelsey had more catches than Debo and Ayuk and Kittle combined. And that is a glaring mismatch in terms of what you were doing offensively. So give the ball to McCaffrey. Then give the ball to your best player. The idea of him turtling up is not just about the run-pass mix. It's about the end of the first half, not using your timeouts to try to get the ball back.
I mean,
especially when you're not going to get the ball to start the third quarter.
This man went for it on 4th and 3 in the fourth quarter.
Great.
This man
did not use his timeouts at the end of the second quarter let Kansas City do the exact thing that he wants to do, which is have it at the end of the half and then get it to start the third quarter.
Which did not work.
And he did nothing to stop it. No, but they had the ball. And Kyle didn't get a chance to get the ball back.
Yeah,
so that to me is what I'm talking about when I'm saying he turtles up.
Yeah.
Because he did not use his timeouts. He goes to the halftime to the locker room with timeouts in tow. What good are those? They're not good for anything.
Because those 30 seconds that you're going to get is not normally what you want. That's situationally
it's a chance to get 3 points instead of 0.
It's also a chance to turn the ball over in your own zone.
Well, and that again is him being too conservative, and that's where I'm critical of him.
Yeah, you can be critical of him all you want. That's not a spot that tends to work in your favor. We can hate analytics all we want, but you are going to play the percentages. We do it in life, and they do it in sports. And freaking out to take timeouts, which, by the way, you have no idea, could have created more time for Mahomes to turn that into a touchdown instead of a field goal.
They had their timeouts too. So they were in complete control of the clock, and you had an opportunity to stop the clock and force them to make that decision with 40 seconds left as opposed to 7 seconds left.
It can go a lot of ways,
and you get the ball back, and you give your team a chance to maybe go into a hurry up and maybe get 3 points. Your kicker was showing unbelievable range in that building. So you get the ball back at the 25. You only need 35 yards, and you've got an opportunity to maybe get some points before the half. And, Kansas City is going to get the ball to start the third. Yeah. So, you chose to be conservative, and you let Kansas City keep hanging around, and that's what happens.
Idris in Hayward. Hey, Idris, what's going on?
What's going on, fellas? So I'm a preface my statement saying I love Kyle Shanahan and he's done a heck of a job. Now that I've said that,
here we go.
Purdy. There were two things I was looking for: what's our defense going to look like, and what's Purdy going to look like. Purdy came out looking poised. I was like, oh my goodness, he looks more prepared than Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, he looked good.
Our defense came out there. Lit. I mean, Greenlaw and Fred Warner and Bosa, our special teams. I've seen Conley clothesline a guy so hard I thought we were going to get a flag. I was like, oh, my goodness. Look, everybody was ready to go. But the coaches did not do their homework. I'm going to say something. Jamar Chase, Stephon Diggs, A.J. Brown, those are all top receivers. Do you know what Snead and that defense did to those receivers? They shut them down. So it should not be a surprise that Debo and Ayuk were literally getting glued. That they couldn't do nothing. So this was a George Kittle game. But guess what? Kyle Shanahan almost never uses George Kittle the way he should because he's a great blocker. Help out your quarterback. And then when the second half, I get the whole pass and then penalty. And you put your players in a position to win, or are you coaching them to lose?
So, Aegis, we got to run. It's a real good phone call. We can talk more about the Kittle situation coming up next. One of the things I always have trouble with is when someone doesn't put up stats, we automatically go, they didn't get him involved. Or do you actually have no idea what the plan was for Kittle and it got taken away? The Juwan Jennings touchdown to Christian McCaffrey, option one was Kittle. He's double covered. He was covered. That was supposed to be a touchdown to George Kittle. And the Chiefs took it away. So I think there was a plan for Kittle. And the Chiefs were more prepared for it than a lot of you are giving it credit for.